race fans, and welcome back to the season finale of the League Zero Racing Series, the premier Formula 3 iRacing League. We're at Spa, where we're going to cap off the season strong. And as always, my name's James East with Team Goon Squad Broadcasting. Breathe the action 1080p, 60 frames a second, as drivers making their way out onto the grid for the final feature event of the night. Starting on pole, Finley Fitzsimmons. Raymond Aguilar starting second. Michael Barnett starts third. Nick Beaver starting fourth. Russell Soto starting fifth. Brand Duwan starting sixth. Kevin Burrows starts seventh. Nick Peterson starting eighth. Don Kasai starting ninth. Charles Carriner starts 10th. Antonio Bianchi starting 11th. Gareth McAllister will be starting 12th here tonight. Cycling it back to Jared Ziegler starting 13th. Ryan Tebow starts 14th. Michael Fairchild starting 15th. Eric Fox starts 16th on the grid. Chase Small starting 17th. Jake Duckwall starting 18th. Hashim Hamoud starts 19th. Peter Rettinger starts 20th. Xavier Zanave starts 21st. David Tamira starting 22nd. Norman King starts 23rd. And Levi Opitz will round out the 24-car grid here tonight. As always, thank you to everybody tuning in, supporting the stream, supporting the league, as well as supporting the broadcast. Couldn't do it without you guys. And we always appreciate up here in the booth, as well as the drivers, seeing everybody hop in and enjoy the racing. Well, let us know where you're from, who you're cheering on, as we're waiting for just a couple more drivers to make their way out on the grid. It's going to be Raymond Aguilar and Eric Fox, two drivers who have yet to make it here today. And here we go for the final feature event of the season. And away they go. And look at the big launch from Raymond Aguilar. He's going to try and take Fitzsimmons into turn one. Micah Barnett also in the fray. Oh no, and around goes Fitzsimmons. Right in the front. Oh, it's calamity for the season opener. And it's going to be a lot of drivers involved in that one. Fitzsimmons, Tamira, Carriner, Opitz, all tied up in that one. Not seeing a safety car come out. It looks about 5-6 drivers are gonna be going home early here tonight. We'll wait for everything to settle down a little bit before we grab the replay, because Michael Barnett, Raymond Aguilar are currently battling for the race lead. Fitzsimmons takes a tow back to pit road as we are too wide, too deep up here in front. It's Barnett, Aguilar, Soto, Beaver, all in the mix. You can also see Brand Duwan rounding out the top five. Kevin Burrows joining into the fray after a massive opening lap crash here at Spa. Barnett has a little bit of a lockup as well, able to hold on to it. Aguilar doesn't push the issue too much, giving a little bit of space. As a whole lot of drivers extending the track limits here. My, oh my, what a way to cap off this season. Let's take a look at that opening corner to see where things went so terribly wrong for Finley Fitzsimmons, your pole setter. Fitzsimmons on the left side of your screen, the number 16. You got Aguilar, the 72, on the right side. And it was very short-lived into turn one before calamity struck. So Fitzsimmons aggressively hops over the curb, loses the back end, and then the field absolutely scatters here. But you're going to see a few drivers nowhere to go. Fitzsimmons gets drilled from the front, and everybody keeps packing in here. And not the start these drivers were looking to make things happen and trying to end on a high note. As we go back up front, Micah Barnett, Raymond Aguilar, Russell Soto, wheel to wheel goes Aguilar and Soto. Nick Beaver, Brand Duwan joining the fray. As we start the second lap of the night, things are getting a little bit out of hand. Barnett holds on the race lead. Aguilar in second. Soto and Beaver now going out, but you've also got Beaver, Duwan going at it right behind them. Oh, we've got more problems. Antonio Bianchi is showing involved in an incident, I believe, with David Tamira. Now let's take a look. Sometimes Spa is a little bit odd on the pickups. Let's see if Bianchi was truly involved in an incident. When I've ran some endurance races here, sometimes the pit lane entry will pick it up. Oh, no, that was definitely an off-track excursion for Antonio Bianchi, taking an alternative route there. As we go back to Bianchi, he's involved in a battle with Zanave as well as Rettinger. You can see Gareth McAllister, the Aussie, the number 25 machine. Down 3 spots from where he started, still sitting 15th out on track. As we check back in, your race leader, Micah Barnett, has extended his gap to 1.1 seconds with a clean air in front of him. If you go a little bit further back to Brandon Dewan, he's got Soto, Beaver, Aguilar right there with him. A lot of heavy hitters inside the top 5. Now, we knew lap 1 was going to be exciting of this 20-lap feature event. I did not predict it was going to be that exciting. And the battle for second continues. Russell Soto, Brandon Dewan, wheel to wheel. Nick Beaver looking for a way around. Raymond Aguilar has fallen back by about a half second here. Oh, a big lockup from the 10 of Beaver. Absolutely drilling the wall there. He's going to be done and out. Let's see what happens. Looks like just a massive lockup from Beaver. And man, if there was a bad place to crash, that was it. For the driver of that number 10 machine, that's going to give Barnett an even stronger gap. Now 1.5 seconds up over Russell Soto. And look at that battle right behind. That's Brandon Dewan, Raymond Aguilar. Linked up, gearbox to wing. And right behind them, Burrows and Peterson going at it. The two very great battles going on. We got the battle for third as well as the battle for fifth. Both pairs of drivers side by side. Peterson sends it in deep. Can he hold on to it? Looks like he'll be able to fend off Burrows for a little while longer. Now your race leader, Micah Barnett, has to be ecstatic with what's going on behind him. Every time these drivers are side by side, wheel to wheel, slowing down the pace slightly as Barnett holds on to that 1.5 second gap over Russell Soto. Now Barnett's fastest lap of the race, 7/10 quicker than just about anybody else on this circuit here tonight. And I think that lends itself well to what it means to have that clean track in front of you. Soto kind of in no man's land. He's 1.4 back from Barnett, a second solid ahead of Aguilar. And Aguilar still has Brandon Dewan right there with him. But it looks like Aguilar is starting to pick up the pace slightly. And let's go a little bit further back into the field, just inside the top 10. That is Jared Ziegler trying to track down the propane man himself, John Kasai's number 3 machine. And it looks like Ziegler's going to do it here, but how's this going to pan out? Yes, Ziegler moves up into 8th. He's up 5 spots. He's about 1 second back from Chase Small. Small up 10 positions so far here tonight. The field's still fairly bunched up, but look at that. Russell Soto is going to answer with the fastest clean lap of the night. A 2-minute, 11-second .81. And right after that, Soto had an off track, so I think his next lap will be a throwaway if he's going for record-breaking lap times. The field's still fairly bunched up here, and still great battles across the track. For instance, John Kasai, Jake Duckwall. Battle for 9th. Kasai trying to stay within the top 10 because here comes Michael Fairchild in the 88 machine, the pink and white 88. Looking to get around Duckwall. He will do so. And a very, very busy racetrack here. Ooh, gotta be mindful as Duckwall takes a peek. And oh, right as we say that, it looked like that might have been contact between Fairchild and Kasai, possibly Duckwall. But Fairchild will be done and out. Take a peek at the pink and white here to see what happened. Oh, no, that's what it was. Number 3 went off track. I think Fairchild checked up slightly and gets a little bit of help from behind. And I think that was the number 3 of John. No, who was that? Somebody else had it off track. Oh, that was Hamoud also going off. As the race clicks off, drivers dropping like flies here. And Kasai still has pressure, still holding on to the top 10. Partially out of attrition, but here comes Jake Duckwall's number 99 machine. Duckwall up 8 spots so far. And Kasai will unfortunately drop back to 10th here, losing the spot to the 99. On board with John Kasai, he's 2/10 and closing fast behind Duckwall. Maybe we're going to see a big lunge here. Duckwall not leaving a whole lot of room. Will Kasai try a lunge on the brakes? Looks to the outside line. And no, Duckwall's going to drive defensively there in the 99, holding on to the 9th place spot. And look at this, here comes the world-famous Australian, Gareth McAllister, the number 25, has closed the gap to make it a 3-car battle for 9th. Kasai right there with Duckwall. McAllister looking for any opening he can possibly find. And still good battles across the track. Nick Peterson, Kevin Burrows battling for the 5th place position. Chase Small joining the fray as well, the number 5 machine. He's tucked in right behind Burrows. This is the wheel-to-wheel action we come out every Thursday night to see, as Peterson and Burrows still side by side. Small trying to make his way around the outside line. Oh, almost contact there between Small and Burrows. Both drivers able to hold on to it, and keep an eye out as here comes Jared Ziegler in the 57 machine. He's gained about 3 or 4 tenths just in that opening quarter of a lap. Spectacular draft battles wherever you find yourself. So let's see, is Kevin Burrows, the number 80 machine, going to be able to work his way around Small, catch up to Peterson, and resume the battle for the top 5? But Chase Small in that number 5 machine, definitely our hard charger so far of the night. He is up 11 positions, making his way into 6th. But I think Kevin Burrows might have other plans about that one. Burrows tucked in right behind, trying to use the draft off that number 5 machine. Barnett clicks off his fastest clean lap of the night, a 1:12.04. Waiting to see how this pack is going to work itself out, but while we do so, let's check back in with Barnett as Soto has been slowly closing the gap. It was about 1.5 seconds at one point. Soto has closed the distance down to 9/10. From race leader Micah Barnett. You can also see Raymond Aguilar off in the background. As it looks like Hamoud and Fox just got involved in an incident together. Hamoud, the number 21 machine, Fox the 33. Oh, I wonder if Fox had problems first and Hamoud, oh no, Hamoud spins around. Ah, and synchronized crashing. So Hamoud has taken a tow back to pit road. He is done and out for the feature event. Going to try and get things corrected before the final sprint race of the season just after this feature event. As Soto has his head down and is working hard here. Trying to close the gap to Barnett. It's now down to about 6.5 tenths. Now, if Soto can get that down to maybe 2-3 tenths, he should be able to pick up the draft from Barnett. And I think we're going to see quite a wild battle for the lead if this thing progresses. Now, fuel window is going to open up around lap 10. And after that, it's anybody's guess when drivers are going to start to box. Really depends on what their strategy is they came into this season finale with. On board with Russell Soto's number 50 machine. Oh, but we're going to have to interrupt ourselves. More problems. Gareth McAllister, John Kasai involved in an incident together. They were battling for around the 11th place spot. McAllister looks to the inside line. Throws it away, and oh, poor Kasai didn't even see it coming. Hopefully both drivers will be able to continue on. Neither came down pit road there. As we've got a 3-car battle for 6th. Chase Small, Kevin Burrows side by side as you're on board with Jared Ziegler, using all the draft to pull up right next to Burrows. This track really lending itself to some strong racing amongst close friends. Most of these drivers have raced with or against each other several seasons in a row here at League Zero, very often running endurance races together and just having a good time with the boys each and every Thursday night. As Small, Ziegler, Burrows still linked up nose to tail up front. Barnett has company with Russell Soto. Soto's closed the gap to a half second. But these are definitely the 3 closest drivers out on track, all jockeying for position. Only 7 laps into this main event. And already we've had a fair amount of drivers sending back to the virtual hauler early on. Fairchild, Beaver, Cariner, Tamira, Fitzsimmons, all out of the night, as well as Hamoud. And man, still wheel to wheel here in the battle for 6th. Small has pulled about a half-second advantage over Ziegler and Burrows, who remain side by side around the circuit. Looks like Burrows will come out just ahead. He's going to hold on to the 7th place spot, back on board with Ziegler. Ziegler being very mindful of the throttle, not wanting to wick it up too early on, send that back end sliding around. And checking back in, race leader Micah Barnett. There is Soto 4/10 behind. As they head up Eau Rouge, will Soto be close enough to pick up the draft? He's whittled it down to a 1/4 of a second. 2/10 and closing fast. Here comes Russell Soto to challenge for the lead. Side by side they go. Looks like Soto's going to have the advantage by just a few tenths of a second. Taking over the race lead. And let's go back to the 3-car battle for 6th. Separated these 3 drivers less than a tenth of a second, and as right as we say that, Small and Ziegler make contact in a very precarious position. Ziegler quickly hopping off the circuit. Oh, and back on the circuit right in front of Bianchi. Dropping like flies out here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's watch this once more. You're focused on Ziegler's 57 machine, trying to find a way around Chase Small, Kevin Burrows. A little bit of contact there between the two, and luckily that didn't go worse. His driver still blitzing by. Now, we had an idea that was going to happen, the old vortex of danger. A lot of cars trying to occupy the same small space here at Spa. As you're on board the world-famous Australian. Wait a second, Micah Barnett, the 59 machine, has crashed out of P2, I believe it was. Let's see what happened to Barnett's 59 machine. Looks like the car just got a little bit light there up on the banking. Oh my goodness. I've got a view for you, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching On Board with the Raymond Aguilar. And I'm just not going to talk, just enjoy this clip. Aguilar with a late save there. almost saw his race taken away from him. Gareth McAllister has moved up to the 8th place spot. Chase Small, the number 5 machine, looking to take it away. Small at the inside line. Here comes Jared Ziegler. I can't believe Ziegler's still able to keep going here after his little incident. Levi Opitz, Antonio Bianchi come down pit road for their one planned stop tonight. Could be a damage spot for those drivers. And here we go again, a little bit deja vu as we go 3 wide at Spa. Ziegler, McAllister, Small putting on a show. Who's going to back out first? Who's willing to send it? Ziegler in the middle says, I'm not slowing down. He'll take over the 8th place spot. McAllister settles for 9th. Chase Small now 10th. My, oh my, how did that not go poorly for these drivers? An excellent display of racecraft as they make their way out of 11 down the hill. I cannot believe that that turned out as well as it did for these drivers after all the incidents we've seen so far this evening. Okay, Small still putting the pressure on McAllister. But let's go back up front. We've got a battle for second shaping up. Brandon Dewan's 96 machine stalking Aguilar 72. Aguilar sits in second, Dewan third. Now these guys are about 3.5 seconds back from Russell Soto. And we've got to pan back over as Small and McAllister. The shootout continues for the top 10. Every point matters. Ziegler takes that opportunity to come down pit road. The green flag stops, starting to cycle themselves out. As you can see the left side of your screen, the top 13 driver have yet to come down here so far. The drivers willing to stretch their limits a little bit more, see how far they can go. As Brandon Dewan taking over that second place spot from Aguilar. Aguilar not going to let him go easy. Let's see, is Aguilar going to be able to put the hammer down, or is he going to sit behind Dewan, maybe save a bit of fuel so he has a shorter stop late in the race? Always intriguing to see how these drivers play out different strategies. Oh, look at that, Dewan with the big off track. Aguilar not able to capitalize on the number 96 mistake. Maybe worried that Dewan was going to spin out on track. It's definitely not the first time we would see it tonight. But we are officially at the halfway mark of today's main event. When are we going to start seeing more of these top 10 drivers come down pit road? You can see 18th through 24th has all retired for the evening. Done and out. Still have 17 drivers out on track on the lead lap. And Soto still holding on to a commanding 3.5 second lead as we kick off lap 11 here at Spa. On board with Aguilar's number 72 machine, Micah Barnett coming down pit road for his one scheduled stop. Here comes Aguilar with a big push, using the draft to his advantage. He's going to try and get set up on track right. And it looks like he's going to pull about a 10th here. Yes, Aguilar taking back over the second position for Brandon Dewan. Aguilar took those laps to measure up the competition, getting back right into it. And he has gained about a tenth, 2/10 off Russell Soto. Now, something I'm also interested in, these drivers only have so many off tracks that they can use throughout the race. If you hit the 18x incident limit, you will be disqualified from this feature event. Now, that clock will restart for the final sprint race of the evening, but definitely something drivers have to be very, very mindful of. As it looks like Aguilar extending his gap over Brandon. We've got another battle shaping up as well. Eric Fox catching up to the back of Norman King. This will be the battle for 11th. King in the all-black 28. Fox in the blue and highlighter yellow accented wheels, number 33. Now, it just showed Kevin Burrows involved in a crash. I think that may have been the pit lights getting triggered, as Fox takes over the 11th place spot, a little bit higher up into the points. Peter Redinger also coming down pit road, and yes, I get a report. This is the same thing I ran into racing endurance here, where I did a 12-hour at Spa. For some reason, the broadcast software picks up entering pit road as a crash, as a whole slew of drivers come down pit road for their one scheduled stop of the evening. But you know who has not come down pit road? Aguilar, Dwan, Peterson. Still staying out as long as they possibly can, but Russell Soto in 4th came in that last time by. He should be good to go till the end here. Xavier Zanave, Kevin Burrows having a battle for 7th. You've also got, I believe that's going to be Jared Ziegler and Antonio Bianchi may have a battle shaping up for 11th as well. We're going to keep an eye out on that one. Now, the reason a top 12 is so important here at League Zero, it might not be the finish you want, is whoop, what happened to Burrows? Losing the back end there. See the puff of smoke in the background, but as we were saying, the top 12 might not be the position you're really looking for tonight, but it scores points, and with the inverted top 12 grid for the sprint race, even if your race starts off bad and you're able to crawl back up to 12th, that will at least mean you're starting in the top spot in the sprint race, where the whole shot's so incredibly crucial for these drivers. And talking about up front, Raymond Aguilar, Brandon, Nick Peterson, all coming down pit road, 1, 2, 3. Where will this put Russell Soto? As he came in 2 laps prior. A very long pit road here at Spa. Russell takes over the race lead. Where is Aguilar? Where is Dwan going to be out on track here? There's Aguilar trying to get up to speed. And it looks like it's going to be about a 3-second gap as Russell gets ready to go through Eau Rouge. On about 2 3/4 as Aguilar still continues getting up to pace. So it looks like every driver has come down pit road for their one final stop. And a 3-car battle for 8th place continues. It's Antonio Bianchi, Jared Ziegler, Gareth McAllister. Separated by about a second here. McAllister trying to catch that draft of Ziegler. And may have a little bit of luck as Ziegler and Bianchi go side by side. Ziegler takes over the 8th place spot, nice and easy. Bianchi staying about a quarter of a second off the back wing of the 57. McAllister about a second and closing behind these two. Our hard charger, Jake Duckwall, still sitting at 5th in the number 99. He is up 13 spots so far and having an excellent run of the evening. As Bianchi trying to fire back against Ziegler. And the same story, if Ziegler and Bianchi start going at it, and if Ziegler hasn't started driving defensively, it will very quickly be a 3-car battle with McAllister closing the gap, sitting 10th at number 25. He's up 2 spots from where he qualified. Oh, here we go once more. Ziegler and Bianchi throwing shots at each other, using the draft to their advantage. Ziegler still sits in 8th. Bianchi looking for a way through. Is going to be coming in hard on the brakes to edge out Ziegler. Yes, he is. Bianchi not afraid to throw it in deep. And just as we said, Gareth McAllister has closed the gap to these 8th and 9th place drivers. Now Chase Small in 7th, extending the gap. He's 3.3 seconds ahead from this battle. You can see him just slightly in the foreground. Very impressed with how fantastic the racing has been all across the track here tonight. Doesn't matter if it's for first or in the current on-screen view for 8th. As Ziegler and Bianchi still side by side, McAllister not sure where to go here. You can see Peter Renger, Micah Barnett trying to close the gap, but Ziegler throws it in too deep. Almost gets into Bianchi. And this is some heated battling going on here. Oh no, Bianchi almost throws it away in the 17, gets snapped loose. These guys are on the absolute ragged edge. McAllister not sure where to go in the 25. Just wanting to finish this season finale cleanly. Now McAllister had his first win of this season and has been building off that momentum ever since. But he's got 2 long-time rivals in front of him, the likes of Bianchi and Ziegler, who we know will not be cutting each other any breaks. On board, Jared Ziegler, half a second back from Antonio Bianchi. He's got Gareth McAllister right off that rear wing as well by about a quarter of a second. The two going to try and pull in Bianchi before they make their way into the heavy braking zone of the chicane. 3 drivers separated by less than a half second once more. Ziegler and McAllister have closed the gap to Bianchi. Looks like 3 very distinct lines coming through the chicane as well. And Bianchi pulls back another couple of tenths, but I think if Ziegler and McAllister stay linked up through Eau Rouge, they should be able to catch them. But Antonio Bianchi making something happen here, extending that gap just a little bit further. And he will have the advantage of clean air on the front of the 17 machine. McAllister doesn't appear to be wanting to stick behind Ziegler any longer. Side by side they go. There was Chase Small, Antonio Bianchi just ahead. McAllister moves up into 9th. Jared Ziegler settles for 10th. We got the Scrubby Scrub joins from the Twitch side of the broadcast. Now the big question is, will McAllister be able to close the gap to Bianchi, who has extended that gap to about 1.12 seconds ahead of the young Australian? Meanwhile, Bianchi also catching up to Chase Small in 7th, so that could be another battle shaping up as well. We've got 5 laps left to go here tonight. And still great racing all across the circuit. McAllister losing just a little bit of time to Bianchi. Ziegler staying right there with the young Australian in the battle for ninth. Now Ziegler has about a 3-second gap on Micah Barnett. Barnett has Peter Renger in 12th behind by about a second. But here comes Ziegler, going to fire back against the Australian. We saw Bianchi make a beautiful move here in the chicane, hard underneath the brakes. Ziegler seems less apt to aggressively throw it in, instead maybe trying to force a mistake out of McAllister. Oh no, Ziegler was setting up for better exit speed there. Slow in, fast out. But not quite able to do anything with it as of yet. Look ahead, that's Antonio Bianchi chasing down Chase Small for 7th. Bianchi very slowly closing what was a 1-second disadvantage, now down to about 8/10 to the number 5. Now Small has had a few off-track excursions and a little bit of excitement this evening. But the last thing Bianchi wants is McAllister and Ziegler to pull their way back forward. You can also see Barnett and Rettinger linked up in the background. As I just heard somebody run out of talent somewhere. That was Jared Ziegler. Taking a tow back to pit road. He is done and out. Let's see what happened to our driver of that 57. Looked like he was just too hard on the brakes there. Let's take a look once more. And the machine just got a little bit out of sorts. Oh, locked up the brakes to avoid getting to the back of McAllister. And unfortunately, Ziegler, we were expecting big things out of him tonight, but he's going to go back to the hauler. And try and get that machine ready for the sprint event of the night. Checking back in up front, Russell Soto, a commanding 4.3-second lead. I'm not sure who just blew up on pit road, but it sounded catastrophic. Soto, his fastest lap of the night, a 2:11.91, a full 10th and a half faster than anybody else out on track. Now it's going to be interesting. Can anybody close the gap to Russell Soto? Soto 4.2 seconds ahead of Aguilar. As it looks like, unfortunately, Ryan Tebow has to limp it down pit road. I think he had an incident. Let's see if it was an actual incident or the pit road sensor picking up problems, perhaps. And more importantly, that was a bit of an incident. And back to side-by-side action. This is a very important battle for 12th. Eric Fox, Gareth McAllister. He who finishes 12th will start on pole for the sprint race. As Racing Confucius used to say, McAllister's going to put the hammer down. He's down 1 spot from where he qualified. And ever since McAllister had his first one this season, we've seen a lot more aggressiveness out of that number 25 machine. Unfortunately, McAllister losing time to Eric Fox's 33 machine. I wonder if McAllister has a bit of problems here as he may be going into survival mode. Let's see here. Fox still holds about a 6/10 advantage over the young Australian. And he only has a couple of short laps to try and defend, holding on to that so incredibly important position. McAllister, to his credit, closing the gap down to 4/10, not wanting to lose the draft with that 33 machine. Oh, the commentator's curse strikes again. Around goes McAllister. Trying to baby it back out onto the tarmac. And unfortunately, McAllister may have very well just thrown it away there. As we say that, Norman King almost does the same. Too hard on the brakes. He was getting right behind Levi Opitz in the number 7. King may be driving with a little bit of red mist there after making a mistake. They seem to want to multiply. You kind of get that red mist, get in your own head a little bit, try and make up time after a mistake, and end up just making a few more. Kind of like on oval racing where cautions breed cautions. Mistakes tend to breed mistakes here. As the field very spread out. Soto holding on to a commanding 4-second lead. Aguilar's closed the gap down slightly. But with 2 to go, I think it's going to be very, very tough for Aguilar to make anything happen. He would just have to hope for a mistake out of Soto. And Soto, so incredibly consistent wherever we see him out on track. And what's important to note as well, if Soto finishes first here in the feature, he'll be starting 12th right in the meat grinder for the final sprint of the season. As we still have 16 drivers out on track. 8 have been sent back to the hauler early on here. By a cruel mistress in open wheel racing. Still better than the official lobbies though. We've got more problems. It looked like Kevin Burrows has an incident. And the number 80. Now that's going to be a pit road sensor picking that one up. But now Burrows has Micah Barnett's 59 machine closing the gap as well. We will have the white flag coming out next time by. And here comes Micah Barnett. He's had a rough go of it tonight in the 59. He's down 6 spots, but trying to minimize things as he tucks in right behind Burrows. Oh, look at the big send from Barnett. Taking over the 8th place spot from Burrows. Very well done. Very, very clean. I think now Barnett's going to put his head down and just see what he can do a little bit further ahead of them. Antonio Bianchi, 3/4 of a second back from Small. Small, still the hard charger of the evening. He's up 11. No, excuse me. It's going to be Jake Duckwall, recently taking over the hard charger position. Duckwall in 5th is up 13 spots so far in the 99. And that's so incredibly important to show what attrition can do in a longer format race. Just got to finish to score some points. White flag is out. And as I say that, Brandon Wan looks like he's thrown it away in the chicane. Nick Peterson moves up into podium contention. Let's see what happened to Dewan. Does he spin it under braking? Yes, he does. Just a little bit too much. Rotates the car. There goes Peterson as Dewan flicks it around. Incredibly frustrating for Brandon Dewan, putting in so much work over this feature event just to have problems on the white flag lap. Peterson's got to be ecstatic to be in podium contention. He's up 5 positions gained. And Russell Soto has definitely been untouchable in that number 50 machine as he still sits proudly up front. Now Aguilar has slightly closed the gap to 3.6 seconds, but a little bit too little too late here at Spa. Norman King with an off-track excursion in the chicane. Levi Opitz may have been involved in that one as well. But Russell Soto with about a quarter of the lap left to go. 4 seconds ahead of Raymond Aguilar. Looking to bring home his final feature event win of the season here. Here we go. Soto getting set up for the chicane for the final time of this feature event. Aguilar still 3.7 seconds behind, barely within frame. Soto into the chicane, the final time of the evening. Russell Soto picks up another win at the feature event of the League Zero Formula 3 Series. Well done. Raymond Aguilar will bring home second. And Nick Peterson will round out the top 3. And a smoke show from Russell Soto. As we wait for the top 3 to get up to the interview room, but they're having a party in turn 1. We're going to wait for those top 3 drivers to get up here in victory lane. There's a few drivers still making their way around the circuit to finish things up. Got Soto, we've got Peterson, we're waiting on Raymond Aguilar. And let's get this thing started. Up first, Nick Peterson bringing home a third. Looked like it was going to be a kind of quiet race for you there, but all of a sudden you find yourself in podium contention as the white flag was thrown out.
Yeah, I got pretty lucky with Brandon spinning. And then there were some good battles with Chase and, what's his name? Forget his name.
Yeah, now talking about that, it seemed like Spa had the usual opening lap shenanigans we've been used to in the past, but other than that, it was a fairly clean race. Were you expecting it to be so clean, and were you expecting the safety car to come out on lap 1 after that massive pileup?
I was kind of thinking when people got collected in him, but I was kind of happy it didn't come out. The leaders kind of took it off from the front, and they weren't able to catch up from the back.
Now that being said, we saw a little bit of excitement in turn 1. We kind of thought the safety car was going to come out. What is your predictions for what is guaranteed to be a very wild season finale in this sprint race tonight?
I kind of hope the safety car comes out. It'd be kind of a fun way to end it.
Just 10 laps of safety car here tonight, Nick?
Yeah, you know.
Well, hey, congratulations, man. Picking up a podium spot at the very tail end of the season. You've gotten a lot faster, a lot more consistent as the season went on. So a lot of fun for me to watch as well as the fans at home. And before I let you go, get ready for the sprint race, Nick. Who do you want to give a shout out to that made it happen for you?
Give a shout out to my fiance for cheering me on tonight.
Awesome. Nick, always a pleasure talking to you, and good luck out there.
Thanks, James. Good talking to you.
You, sir. That was Nick Peterson bringing it home in third. Up next, we've got Raymond Aguilar finishing second, locking up a championship. Welcome back to the top 3, my friend.
Yeah, locking up a lot of things tonight. Locking up my front tires and not having the greatest race ever, but brought it home at least.
Now, you didn't. Now you say you don't have the greatest race ever, but you finished a race in an open wheel car at Spa, so surely that's some sort of accomplishment in and of itself.
That's true, especially with these tires, man. Hankook, I think, brought the wrong compound to the track this weekend because they only last about 5 laps and then they just start doing weird things.
Yeah, I saw a lot of weird self spins late in the race, and like you said, a lot of micro lockups. Are the lockups attributed to the odd tire wear, I guess a good way to describe it, that you're talking about?
Yeah, I think so. And this is a fixed set, and I think whatever set we're running tonight was no, I don't know. It makes the car feel pretty good, but then the tires overheat pretty quick. And also the toe's just dirty tonight. Like, if you can stick with somebody, that toe's worth 5/6 a lap.
Now that you've locked up the championship, we go into the final sprint race of the evening. I assume you're going to send it as hard as you possibly can, but is there going to be any deviation to that plan?
No, so we're going to the end of this is the last race of the season. I think I've got enough points left to do silly things in the race without getting in trouble, but I don't know. I don't want to set a bad example as it is, and as you know, just won the championship, so I'm going to Disneyland next, and so I don't want to get hurt or do anything that might ruin my chance to ride all the awesome rides down there. Get the fast pass, eat the ice cream, Mickey heads. I'm all about it.
Awesome. I know you've got your SketchUps prepared so you can ride all the tall kid rides, and guaranteed to be a good time. And Aguilar, before we let you get ready for this final sprint race of the season, who do you want to give a shout out to, my friend?
Most of all, my wife for putting up with this nonsense. I get a few hours a week free time from work to do this kind of thing, in all seriousness, and about 75% of those 2 hours a week get put into this league, and somehow, despite her looks being way better than mine, she still puts up with it. So I want to thank her the most. My team, Track Limit Racing, Little Debbie number 72 car, hand-cooked tires, and Team Goon Squad for coming up with these awesome shirts.
Awesome. Thank you, Russ. Excuse me, Raymond. I'm in trouble. Raymond, thank you.
Russell's my role model, so we're good.
Okay, well, thank you, my friend. It's been a lot of fun, and hopefully I'm talking to you at the end of the night here at Spa.
Yep. Thanks, James.
Thank you, sir. That was Raymond Aguilar finishing the second-place spot. But up next, the man, the myth, the legend, Russell Soto, joining us once more up in the top spot of the booth. Welcome for what was a relatively clean and uneventful race for you.
Yeah, absolutely, James, and it's great to be back up here. Definitely a difficult race in terms of all the factors involved. I mean, for one, I didn't get as much practice as I would have liked coming in. However, also, just in general, the setup did not really match my driving style, and the tires did not feel like they were aging very well. But luckily, kept it together, kept it clean, just put my head down, and despite everything, didn't give up. And ultimately, I was able to win the race. And, qualifying didn't look great either because I didn't get draft, but still gave it my all, and it ended up well.
Now, Russell, you're not the first driver to complain about the setup and the tire wear. Is the car just tight for you guys out there? Are you having to overdrive with the front end, or what's making it kind of prematurely wear the tires out here tonight?
It's definitely on the lower cornering speeds because going down the deeper braking zones into one in the final corner, the bus stop chicane, it was definitely really hard to have the initial turn-in grip. The car would just kick out, especially on exit. The rear would just absolutely light up, and so the tires would wear, and it would just make the car difficult to drive. It was a tricky one today, James.
Well, glad you're still able to capitalize that clean air. It seemed like it was very important and very beneficial once you got out there uncontested, and now you'll be starting 12th in the final sprint race of the evening. And I know every point's on the line for you and the team, but what's the plan? What's the strategy to capitalize on the most amount of points you can here?
Yeah, James, we went from 5th to 1st in this previous race. The plan is to go from 12th to 1st once again.
Oh, easier said than done. I'm looking forward to watching, my friend. Russell, it's been a lot of fun. Glad to have you back out here at League Zero, and hopefully we'll have you full-time next season because I think you would definitely be a championship contender. But as always, a great race. And who do you want to give a shout-out to, Russell, that helps make this feature win possible for you?
Appreciate the kind words, James, and definitely full-time for next season. Some people I like to shout out are definitely my family watching, my friends watching as well. I like to shout out myself, RussellSotoRacing.com. Please go give that a follow. And Lewis Hamilton for reminding me to never give up and teaching me how to drive with wearing tires.
Well, very well said, Russell. Congratulations. Good luck in the sprint, and hope to have you back up here by the time it's all said and over tonight.
Thanks so much, James.
Thank you, sir. And that was Russell Soto rounding out and finishing on the top spot of the podium here at League Zero. That was the final feature event of this season, but don't go anywhere. We will be right back with more League Zero racing with the final sprint race of the season, half the laps and twice the action. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as the warm-up comes to a conclusion, let's get ready. The final sprint race of the season here at League Zero, the premier Formula 3 iRacing League. The top 12 have been reversed and an inverted grid. And this one, my friends, is going to be all sorts of excitement. And before the show gets on, again, thank you to everybody, drivers, fans, sponsors, league admins alike, helping to make this season possible. As we get ready to go, half the laps, twice the action here at Spa. And if you thought we saw some big sends in the feature, oh, you are in for a treat, ladies and gentlemen. Eric Fox will be starting the top spot. Xavier Zanave starts second. Peter Rettinger starting third. Kevin Burrows starting fourth. Micah Barnett starts fifth. Antonio Bianchi starting sixth. Jay Small starts seventh. Jake Duckwall ninth. Dwan ninth. Peterson 10th. But let's get ready to go as Kevin Burrows will not make it out onto the grid. Looks like Tamira may also not be starting as well as Hamoud. And a very busy turn one as Bianchi has an off track. Levi Opitz follows suits, and oh, are we going to go 3 wide up Eau Rouge? Hopefully not, because that will be a disaster for all sorts of people. Zanave taking over the race lead early on. It's very busy racetrack behind him. Here comes Eric Fox to challenge back to the lead. We go 3 wide. Opitz has problems towards the back. It's going to be a huge crash. Russell Soto's tied up in that one. It's carnage here at Spa. Not even a lap completed. John Kasai, Fairchild, Fitzsimmons, Carrainer, King, Peterson, McAllister, Opitz, Tebow. Oh, they're dropping like flies. John Kasai off track. Absolute carnage here at Spa. And we've got to take a look at that one because that's going to be hours of entertainment on the old replay as more and more drivers going back to pit road. It's an absolute disaster. We don't have time to go back. Everyone's wadded it up. Is this race even going to continue? 13 drivers remain out on track. McAllister, Tebow, Peterson. Aguilar's in pit road. Small, Duckwall, Dewan. We very quickly whittled it down to 13 drivers out on track. 14th through 21st, 7 drivers have retired early on. We knew it was going to be exciting. We didn't know it was going to be that exciting, ladies and gentlemen. Zanave trying to work back around Rettinger's number 44 machine as we get the replays queued up here. Ooh, Rettinger, Zanave going at it. Rettinger up the inside. Zanave trying to find a way around in his number 12 machine. As Barnett checking out up front. Rettinger, Zanave, and now Beaver all in the fray. You can also see Russell Soto's number 50 machine starting to close the gap. Now, I think if all those drivers didn't take a tow, we were sure to see a safety car, but are we going to see 3 wide action once more? We're going to hint at it. Beaver, Rettinger, Zanave, not afraid to risk it all, 3 wide. It's going to be Beaver coming out in the top spot, or more aptly third. He's up 18 spots, edging out Zanave, and that's going to be, where'd Rettinger go? Rettinger has problems. Russell Soto's taking over 5th. And we whittle it down to now 11 drivers out on track. So while we have a bit of a moment, let's take a look to see what happened here. Oh, there's the first crash. I'm trying to see who that was off track, but that was never going to work. They fixed the grass bug here at Spa. So that was our big first crash. We thought we were going to see the safety car. Here is the second big crash. As we go on board the League Zero. Oh, look at a little bit of netcode there. Stacked everybody up, and stack is the appropriate word. That's how Formula 4 cars are made. So going back live, Micah Barnett out front. We've whittled it down to 11 drivers on the lead lap. 11 drivers still out on track. Micah Barnett with a huge lead. Well, let's check in on Finley Fitzsimmons. He's battling out with Peter Renger for 6th. Fitzsimmons, the first driver to crash out of the feature event. Unfortunately, as he was the race leader, he's going to be crawling back up towards the front. He's about 6/10 behind Xavier Zanave. And we've got more problems. Peter Renger involved in a big hit. And he's going to take a tow back to pit road and joining the list of drivers. Done and out for the evening. Let's see what happened to the all-black 44 machine. Oh, just edged it in there and grabbed the wall a little bit. It looks like losing the front right tire. Yet another driver joining the short list of folks who are done and out of the evening. As we check in, Finley Fitzsimmons still going crazy with Xavier Zanave. Zanave still 6th out on track. He's down 4 spots from where he started. And let's see what Fitzsimmons can do. He's tucked in behind Russell Soto's number 50 machine. It'd be very interesting to see if those two fast Titans can link up, make something happen. Now your race leader, Micah Barnett, checking out 3 seconds ahead. Eric Fox is about 2 seconds ahead of Nick Beaver in 3rd, but Beaver's got some fast guys right behind him. He's got Russell Soto, Finley Fitzsimmons closing the gap ever so slightly. Now, not a lot of laps in these sprint races. Again, it's a 10-lap final race of the season. But I think Russell Soto would like nothing more than to make it back-to-back in one night. Soto still about 3/4 of a second back from Beaver in 3rd. Fitzsimmons about 6/10 back from Soto. Now Fitzsimmons has had a long time to think about his errors in the feature event. He does have the fastest lap of the race, a 2-minute 11.87. Oh no, it's gonna get, yeah, that's Fitzsimmons. Drops it to a 2:11.4. So Fitzsimmons on rails here in the number 16 machine, up 19 spots after starting 24th after a very rough go in the feature. Now while these 3 drivers, Beaver, Soto, Fitzsimmons, running 3rd, 4th, 5th, probably won't be able to catch up to Micah Barnett, your race leader. If we can get these 3 linked up and put on a show, well worth the price of admission here. And it looks like Soto's starting to very close the gap to Beaver, down to about a half second. Fitzsimmons watching this unfold. Now the instant that Beaver and Soto start going at it, it will rapidly become a 3-car battle. As your race leader, Micah Barnett, has extended the gap to 3.6 seconds over Eric Fox. Fox looks like he's losing a little bit of time here to Beaver, Soto, and Fitzsimmons. And now that we've cleared off half the cars and most of the wreckage off the track, drivers starting to put their heads down, get stuff done. 2/10 and closing between Beaver and Soto. Soto squarely in the draft. He's going to make a big lunge up on the brakes into the chicane. Contact just the slightest bit. Fitzsimmons will work around Soto. Here comes the Nave. Soto wisely hops off the track as quickly as he can to avoid staying at the race line. And now it's going to be Fitzsimmons and Beaver linked up for third. Fitzsimmons wants to put his head down, try to bring home a podium here tonight at Spa to cap off the season strong. But man, oh man, are we dropping like flies. You heard the top three in the feature event say the car very tail end loose, wants to come around, and I can't tell if that was a little bit of netcode between Beaver and Soto. But regardless, Soto's going to have an uphill battle as now Fitzsimmons and Beaver side by side, the battle for third. Fitzsimmons shows ahead by just a hair, by about 1/10 of a second. Beaver tucks in behind the young British driver. Fitzsimmons up 21 spots so far this event. Fitzsimmons still about 2.1 seconds off the back of Fox, but driving like a man possessed. 5 laps left to go, the last sprint race of the season. And we still may see something happen yet. We came to a crash and a race broke out at Spa. But once that was out of the way, things cleaning up. Let's see, is Fitzsimmons going to be able to close the gap? Let's go on board with Finley Fitzsimmons, trying to close a 1.5 second disadvantage. Now Nick Beaver still about a half second back off that number 16 machine. The gap now closing to 1.1 second. Your race leader, Micah Barnett, the fastest lap, his personal fastest lap last time by, 2 minutes 11 seconds, .94. Beaver trying to hold on to Fitzsimmons. Fitzsimmons extending the gap to about a 1/10 more now, up to 0.6 of a second. And for the first time in a long time, it's less than a second between Fox and Fitzsimmons. Barnett extends his gap out front, 4.3 seconds ahead of second place. We've got what looks to be a 3-car battle for second shaping up. Barnett doesn't look like he can be touched, but we've seen crazier things happen at League Zero. Now Barnett has 2 wins so far this season. And he did bring home the win at Interlagos just last week. His other win was at Imola early on around August 11th. Now your race leader Barnett up 4 spots from where he started tonight. Norman King returns back out on the track after almost 9 minutes of repairs. I believe King gonna try and get one more spot. He's got Charles Cariner and pit road in the number 54 machine. So King trying to score a couple more points, getting around the drivers that have crashed out a little bit later than him. As here we go for the battle for second, Eric Fox, Finley Fitzsimmons. Nick Beaver trying to join the party as well in the number 10 machine. Fitzsimmons up 21 spots, Beaver up 17. What's Fox gonna do? Fitzsimmons looks for an opening. Fitzsimmons makes the pass, but it's gonna be a battle of breaking will here. As now Beaver should be able to close the gap as the 2 drivers in front of him go side by side once more. Fitzsimmons set up for the inside. Fox set up for a bit more swooping line to try and carry a little bit more exit speed. But here comes Nick Beaver as they're 2, 3, 4 out in the start-finish line straight. Less than 6/10 separating these 3 drivers, and only 2 of them will be able to finish on the podium, the last sprint race of the season. It's 3 laps left to go. Micah Barnett has extended the gap to 5.6 seconds. Now, are we going to see Beaver attempt a draft pass? Fitzsimmons about 4/10 ahead of Fox, but Fox squarely in the draft, and he's got draft support from behind. Beaver hops out of formation, goes side by side with Fox. Fitzsimmons still squarely out front. Beaver trying to make up time, but nowhere to go as Fitzsimmons sits squarely in front of him. Beaver looks like he's going to take over the second place spot here. The third place. Fox falls back to fourth. Fitzsimmons quickly extends that gap to 1 second. He wants to get a bit of a breakaway here. With 3 laps left to go, I don't think Fitzsimmons is going to be able to overcome the time differential that Micah Barnett has built up. But at this point, it's all about damage control, trying to put Beaver and Fox as far back as he possibly can. We've got Gareth McAllister, unfortunately, back in the virtual hauler. He's joining us on the YouTube side of the broadcast, cheering on his teammate, Finley Fitzsimmons. As the top 3 start to get the top 4 start to get slightly spread out. Fitzsimmons has built up a 1 second gap over Beaver. Beaver 9/10 over Fox. Meanwhile, poor Russell Soto, the number 50 machine, who was wanting to make it back-to-back before that self-spin. He's about 6.5 seconds back from Fox. So still a top 5, a good way to salvage the evening, but definitely not what Soto was looking for. As we check back in at Micah Barnett, that's what almost a 6 second gap looks like. As Barnett gets ready to challenge up Eau Rouge. Just 2 laps left to go. And Barnett absolutely on fire here. We've got another producer, Mason, is joining us on the Twitch side of the broadcast. Always great having him tune in after he's wrapped up his show for the evening. As we all watch the absolute clinic that Barnett's putting on here tonight. Extending the gap now to 6 seconds. Fitzsimmons has pulled a 1 second gap on Beaver. Beaver with 1.5 over Fox. We've got 9, count them, 9 drivers still on the lead lap after the opening carnage here this evening of the final sprint. Now, hats off to Norman King as well. The number 28 machine came down pit road, did not take a tow, spent almost 9 minutes in his pit stall to get back out there to gain a couple more spots and maximize points for himself and his team. Because again, it's the first time you've tuned in, the rule here at League Zero, if you take a tow back to pit road in any of the sessions, you are not allowed to return to the track during that session. And just like that, Norman King's strategy has worked out well for him. The 28 machine has gained a spot over Carraner, who is also in pit road and retired for the evening. Now, unfortunately for King, I think that's the most amount of points he's going to be able to gain here as he limps around the track. About 5 or 6 seconds off the pace. And speaking of pace, Barnett with another fastest lap for himself. A 2-minute 11.92. As though we have just a couple more laps left to go. And unless Barnett has a big moment, I think he's looking good here. Got to be careful what we say up in the broadcast booth because we've definitely seen problem strike leaders before here at League Zero. So Barnett, I think he's going to back off. I would think he would back off the pace ever so slightly. But some of these racers are wired a little bit different. If you back off too much is when you can start to make mistakes. It's going to be interesting to see what Barnett's lap time is this time by. as every driver really taking taking advantage of the track limits here at Spa. Spa, one of those weird tracks that'll throw a bunch of off tracks, what I think is for silly reasons, but that is up to the iRacing gods to decide. The field very spread out here. I think the two closest drivers we have out on track are Finley Fitzsimmons and Nick Beaver running second and third. 1.1 seconds to separate those two drivers. And our hard charger so far, definitely Finley Fitzsimmons, number 16 machine. After a rough go in the feature event, started at the very back of the field and has now gained 22 spots as he sits in second. And the white flag will come out this time by Micah Barnett, holding a 5.8 second gap over Fitzsimmons. Putting his head down, making it happen. He wants that third win of the season. And he may have a 6-second gap by the time it's all said and done. And Barnett has not slowed down at all. His last time by, a 2-minute 11.74, another fast lap for the number 59 driver. He's up 4 spots from where he got shuffled into the mix during that inverted top 12 gridding. Oh, hold on to it. Micah Barnett flat tracking it around there in the 59, almost losing the rear end. Putting on an absolute clinic in car control. But I think now he might back it down a little bit. Almost seen the race lost there. And has to be mindful not to overheat the tires as we're on board that 59 machine, the race leader. And you can hear the suspension and the underbody just getting absolutely hammered here at Spa. Three-tenths of a lap left to go for Micah Barnett. Here comes Micah Barnett. He'll be a little bit gentle on the brakes here into the chicane. Once he gets there, and still a 5.4 second advantage for the pilot of the number 59 machine. And Micah Barnett gonna bring home the win here, the final sprint race to cap off the season. And he is absolutely ecstatic here, bringing home the win. Finley Fitzsimmons finishing second, and Nick Beaver will round out the top 3. And Barnett with a very well-deserved victory burnout. What a way to cap off this season. And we're going to try and get these drivers up here to the waiting room. My, oh my, what a way to cap things off, ladies and gentlemen. And it's time for the final podium interviews of the season. Up first, we've got Nick Beaver, the number 10 machine, finishing third, up 18 spots. And I don't know if you were expecting a wild sprint race at Spa, but that sure delivered from my point of view.
I didn't know what to expect. I did not expect that. That was absolute chaos. Just an insane race all around. That was kind of a cool finish.
Now we're watching the white flag lap replay, and it almost looked like you were sliding that back end around coming through the chicane. Was the car getting a little bit tough to hold on to at that point for you?
Yeah, I set this challenge for myself to try to run the fastest lap on the last lap. It bugs a friend of mine, so I try to do that, and I was probably just pushing a little too hard. I think the car was probably fine, but yeah, that's just me pushing too hard, especially trying to catch Finley there. I wanted to get that hard charger, but I knew that wasn't going to happen. So yeah,
Now, Nick,
overdriving.
after that opening lap of carnage and heartbreak, were you expecting to see the iRacing safety car have to come out on that one?
I honestly didn't know that was a consideration, but knowing that that was a possibility, I think that could have made kind of spiced up the top 5, top 7 if we would have bunched everyone back together. I think that would have been a pretty cool concept, actually.
Well, stick around long enough and you'll see it, my friend. But, Nick, a great run this season, a great run tonight in the sprint race, and bringing home a very hard-fought third. And for the final time this season, Nick, who do you want to give a shout to that made this possible for you?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for, I think, Antonio for setting up the league. It's a lot of fun. Congratulations to Raymond for winning the championship. Congratulations to Micah for winning that race there. Just a shout out to all the drivers. I think for the most part, there's a lot of great racecraft. There are some that could use work, but that's okay. That's why we're here. We're here to learn. And then I'll shout out to the guys that I hang out with. Charles was racing tonight. Eric Fox was racing tonight. So thanks for hanging out with me. Hager, Alex, Andrew. Thanks, guys. Love the support. And thank you. Thank you for streaming. You put on amazing streams. I love watching them back. I love sending them to people. So, yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Nick. Great run out there, my friend. Great season. It's been a lot of fun watching you get progressively faster. So looking forward for more big things out of you. And thank you for putting on the show, my friend.
Thank you so much.
That was Nick Beaver bringing home the third-place spot. Up next, Finley Fitzsimmons bringing home a second. Finley, welcome back. A bit of a redemption arc this evening here at Spa.
Yeah, I mean, last to second is quite something.
Now, Finley, if we had more time, do you think you could have contested with Micah there, or was it just too much to overcome, having to cut through the entire field and dodge wrecked cars absolutely everywhere?
As soon as I saw that 6-second gap when I was in 4th place, I knew that first place was out of contention. I knew Mika was really, really quick, and he's been quick all weekend. He was super quick in qualifying as well. Even if I could get a couple tenths here and there, I would not have been able to catch him, no matter how long the race was. He did a brilliant drive. He had a great gap there, and yeah, it was his to win, I think.
Now, Finley, what was it like having to cut through so much carnage on the opening lap? I mean, we saw a large portion of over half the race get sent back to the virtual hauler early on, and somehow you're able to snake through on that one.
Yeah, it was really close. But do you know the song California Girls by Katy Perry?
Yeah, big fan.
Yeah, I was listening to that on the race start. It could not have been it was the best song to match it. I was just vibing to that as I was cutting through the traffic.
I always pegged you more as a firework kind of guy, but I like where your head's at.
Yeah, so like I was vibing to California Girls, and then there was a massive wreck coming out of Eau Rouge, and there was a massive brown hole in my pants. But somehow I managed to get through it. It was probably like a millimeters if you include netcode. It was all luck, if I'm honest. It was all RNG, but hopefully, I say hopefully, I did get through it. But yeah, it was definitely a miracle.
Well, a lot of fun to watch out there. Now, what's the plans for future season? Are you going to be able to run leagues there? I know you got taken away a little bit this season and kind of hurt you on the points chase, but definitely a contender in the top 5, if not for a championship next season. So what's the plan for you in the number 16 machine?
I'll definitely be running next season. I'm not sure if I will be able to run all the races. Hopefully I will, or try to. If you can mount up a challenge, that would be brilliant, but I don't want to be expecting anything. I just want to sit here and have fun because this race was an absolute blast, and I hope I can have many more of these.
Awesome. A lot of fun watching you come out there. Great racing from you, and glad to see you back up here in the podium room. And Finley, before we let you go, for the final time this season, who do you want to give a shout-out to that made it happen?
As usual, really. Great shout out to Mika, of course, for a brilliant win, brilliant drive. With you, James, the broadcast booth, Team Goon Squad, as always, and we'll see you guys next week, I suppose.
Awesome. Thank you, Finley. Good job, and looking forward to having you back.
You too, James.
That was Finley Fitzsimmons finishing in second tonight, but up next, the man, the myth, the legend, Micah Barnett in the 59 machine in the top spot. Micah, welcome, my friend. Making it back-to-back weeks and a great run out of that 59 machine.
Yeah, thanks. We gotta stop meeting like this, but I guess I keep throwing it away in the feature. I can keep in a good head start in the sprint. So
It's not just you, my friend. And now, Micah, as we've got the replay pulled up, were you looking in your rear view mirror on the opening lap coming out of Eau Rouge?
I was not. I was looking ahead. I was actually just watching Soto do a 360 out of the top of Eau Rouge down the Kemmel Straight and keep going, and he still was threatening to chase me down. It's pretty unreal.
The man's just built different. But Michael, once you got out front, you built up a little bit of gap. There's still a lot of fast guys in the mix. I mean, Fitzsimmons, Beaver, Fox, Soto, we're all running spectacular lap times. What was your mindset? Did you look at the relative and say, I gotta go, or what were you thinking at that point?
Yeah, I knew my only. I mean, all those guys are a couple 3/10 faster than I am. Best case, and so I knew my only good chance was to be really aggressive off the start, try and get out into clean air and start building a gap as soon as possible. So I was fortunately the guys up front, everybody was pretty pragmatic, I guess, as we were going too wide in some weird spots. And yeah, so try to build a gap and then just hope I had enough padding to not let them chase me down. So it worked out pretty good.
Now, Michael, we didn't get to talk to you after the feature event after a bit of a rough race, but how was the car handling for you tonight? We heard several complaints from the drivers that the back end was kind of snap loose and wanted to throw you away every opportunity, and then the tire wear was a little odd, what we were hearing tonight.
Yeah, I certainly had an issue with that in the feature race. I wasn't sure what I was doing wrong, but I was going a little bit slower, and I seemed to be overheating the rear tires, and the car just kept getting looser and looser, and I don't think I kept up with it very well. So in the sprint race, I dialed my brake bias back forward a little bit and tried to just be really. I think you just have to be really aware on the traction events with this car to not sort of stand on it and Tokyo drift out of the turns. And so I was trying to focus on that. Seemed to help.
Now, it's funny you say that. I want to say it was the white flag lap or shortly before that. I want to say we saw a pretty spectacular drift out of you in that 59, and I wasn't sure if it was on purpose or not.
Yeah, I was. I wanted to sort of push a little bit and find some pace, and then yeah, I think by the end, the more I pushed, the more I was overheating the rears. But yeah, it's all good fun. It's a fun car to drive and good setup and really good racing tonight.
Mikey, you definitely deserved it, my friend. A very dominant win in the sprint. What a way to cap off this season and do it right. And yeah, we just put up on the replay a spectacular drift coming out of the chicane. So a lot of fun to watch, even when you're out there in no man's land and just hammering that car and putting down heaters. So good to have you back up here at the top spot, capping off the season relatively strong. And I know more big things to come for you, but Micah, for the final time of this season, you've got the privilege, the pleasure. Who do you want to give a shout to? Friends, family, sponsors, the floor is all yours.
Yeah, absolutely. So as always, my team Scuderia Chicken House. Thanks again to Team Goon Squad for the great broadcasts all season long. Shout out to League Zero and Antonio for a really well-run season. And my family, of course, and then also just launched a new venture called War Wagon Fab on heavy-duty truck bumpers. So shout out to that group as well.
Awesome. Congratulations, my friend. A very spectacular way to cap off the season, and hope to see you back even more next year.
I appreciate it. Thanks, James, for the whole season.
Thank you, sir. And that was Micah Barnett finishing the night off strong, bringing home the win and the final sprint race of the evening at Spa. It was Micah Barnett, Finley Fitzsimmons, Nick Beaver, 1, 2, 3, but a huge shout out as well. Raymond Aguilar didn't have a good night here in the sprint race nor the feature, but a relatively good night in the feature. But hey, capped off this season as the #1 driver. So it's going to be interesting to see if Aguilar will be running the red #1 next season or not, but always looking forward to it. For the final time this season, on behalf of LeagueZero.net, my name has been James East with Team Goon Squad Broadcasting. Thank you supporting us all season long, supporting the drivers that lead the broadcast, as well as having one of our League Zero broadcasts featured as the #1 highlight on the iRacing YouTube channel. We couldn't have done without you guys, the fans, especially the drivers and the admins that keep this place going each and every week. Thank you all so much for spending so many Thursdays with us, and I'll see you at the next one. Have a great night, everybody.